thanks for inviting me here. Leaving my Quaker orbit, or how I found out Kenya has the most Quakers in the world. About 2011, I was a happy Quaker. I didn't see that I could get much happier. I had a loving community in Madison meeting. New spiritual openings seemed to be happening every month. I was on some wonderful committees. Best of all, I met my wife, a fellow Quaker, at a friend's general conference gathering. It was fabulous. I was in a very circular Quaker orbit, filled with light. I didn't realize, however, but I was stuck. I was siloed, as they say. I know that may sound surprising. About that time, to my great surprise, I had a leading to go to the Friends World Committee for Consultation, FWCC, World Gathering in Kenya in 2012. Where that came from, I do not know. This was generously supported by Northern Yearly Meeting. Imagine meeting in Kenya with 900 to 1,000 Quakers, all the different branches from the entire world, unprogrammed friends, conservative friends, FUM pastoral friends, and evangelical friends. These branches all worshiped together during the conference in their own style or theology, prayed, laughed, cried, sometimes argued, shared music and plenary talks, all to understand each other better and feel the Spirit flowing among us, bringing Spirit closer, bringing us closer. Every day we gathered in home groups with a mix of people from around the world. Careful, trusting, loving, listening happened there. Spirit was indeed moving. I learned that sitting across the table at dinner was a great way to connect with another human being. What was the result of all this? It bumped me out of my wonderful yet routine Quaker orbit. It bumped me into something unexpected. It took me out of my comfort zone, unstuck. I came back to Madison meeting on fire for God, joyful. I found this new spiritual fire hard to manage, especially for a former atheist. Where was it taking me? God, I asked, what do you want me to do? It was a wild ride. God, what do you want me to do? To help sort this out, I formed a clearness committee to see if we could answer that question I was asking God. After 4 weeks, we stopped, not much clearer. A year or so later, I joined the FWCC Traveling Ministry Corps. This was a small group that was training friends to be traveling ministers. I loved it. There were 7 of us, 3 Bolivians and 4 North Americans. It felt so right and so clear. I had a clearness committee when I returned to Madison to see if my leading to be a traveling minister was from God, and came to clarity that God was indeed calling me to be a traveling minister. I asked my clearness committee to become my support committee, and they helped me write a travel minute, which is a kind of spiritual passport approved by the meeting. The minister carries this on their trips. It describes who this person is. No, he's not a kook. It describes the ministry this person is carrying. And my support committee took the minute to meeting for business for approval. This was the beginning of 6 months of struggle in the meeting. While there was some support, there were many objections. Quakers don't have ministers, or you think you are a more important Quaker than the rest of us, or you are expecting deference from the people that you will be visiting. Or one of my favorites, Chuck, are you trying to turn us into an evangelical meeting? It was often hurtful. Eventually, though, I felt the sense of the meeting shift, and the minute was finally approved. In the course of this discernment, we all learned something. Had the traveling minute been approved with a rubber stamp, none of us would have learned and grown spiritually. I set out to visit some meetings and churches. Valton Friends Church in Wisconsin, Cambridge Meeting, San Ignacio Friends Church in El Salvador, Putney Friends Meeting, and many more. Adventures continue. I realized I was traveling much as Quaker ministers did in early days, except I didn't have a horse. Now, friends, let's settle into some worship.